Pairs in tatters after Fletcher Pfeiffer. Day 1 was a stop-start affair at Trent Bridge, and it belonged to Worcestershire. Their bowlers, assisted by the conditions, managed to take 3 wickets and leave their opponents 51 for 3, resuming on the third day after a second day of play was lost to the weather. Duckett and James picked up the baton and got Nottinghamshire's innings back up and running, and injected some more confidence into proceedings. The pair's Day 1 success hadn't carried over to the third day, and the partnership ticked the score up towards 3 figures. Duckett took them to the mark with a well-played shot for 2 into the leg side, the partnership worth 50 runs, and Duckett now just 1 shot away from a half-century. He'd get there a few balls later, the ball pulled for 2, his knock scored at a rate of a run a ball. Notts had some stability. They kept on going, 150 well within their reach, with the session wearing towards lunch. James now finding his feet. They reached the mark, Notts in the ascendancy in the morning session, serene sailing so far, and the lunch break reached with the score 150 for 3. The 4th wicket was worth 100 runs at the resumption, this partnership doing really well for their side. James was playing a good knock, his star on the rise after a fine few contributions with bat and ball, and he'd pop up with another. He joined Duckett on 50 when he found the runs he needed. They took the total to 200, 3 runs enough to get them there and take the value of their partnership to 150. Duckett then gave the Notts crowd more to cheer. A beautifully timed sweep off D'Oliveira raced away to the boundary and took the number 3 to his 100, just reward for a solid performance with the bat. The pair accelerated, no holding them back as they swiftly accumulated and took the score further, now knocking on the door of 250. A single from Duckett took them to the mark, and then, a few balls later, one from James had taken the value of the partnership to 200. They remained unbeaten at the interval, the score 255 for 3. But after a long day in the field, Worcestershire finally had a wicket. James top-edged a catch to D'Oliveira off the bowling of Mitchell, out for 78. Mullaney announced his arrival, the accelerator stamped to the floor as he started to attack the pair's bowling. He'd obviously liked what he'd seen of Stevens' innings at Canterbury and was doing what he could to replicate it. The total taken to 300 runs and the partnership soon worth 50. It wouldn't be long before Mullaney was on 50. He'd taken just 40 balls to get there after a little more than half an hour at the crease. Duckett then passed another milestone, 150 runs to the Notts number 3, scored off 176 deliveries. They were having fun. That approach continued and took them to 350. Another big 6 from Mullaney helped them en route to the total. It wasn't long before the pairing had added 100 runs, yet another big return from a Notts duo. They were racing towards 400, another Mullaney maximum saw the score tick past 370. And it was 398 when Mullaney's approach led to his downfall. A short ball dug in, and he looked to help it on its way, but only assisted Cox, the catch a simple one for the keeper. Moore's stay was brief, just 2 more runs added, the 400 reached, and they trudged off, the instructions to declare clearly left by the departing captain. Nottinghamshire had filled their boots, Duckett in particular had enjoyed himself, and in different circumstances could have had a double 100 to his name. Mullaney's aggressive approach caught the eye, his 88 was scored off just 73 balls. The hosts' great day continued with the ball in hand. Fletcher removed Libby in the second over, out for 2. Broad then struck to remove Fell, a short one dug in, and off the England bowler went, celebrating before Moores had even taken the catch, the pair's in a bit of trouble. Mitchell chose to pad up to Fletcher's delivery, the umpire raised the finger, and it was getting worse for Worcestershire. Another for Fletcher, a few balls later, D'Oliveira at least played a shot, but the result was the same, out LBW. He had a third with his next delivery, almost a carbon copy got Ricky Vessels, a triple wicket maiden for the big Notts bowler. His celebration, one of the highlights of the game so far. Cox and Haynes put a stop to the carnage, and finally Worcestershire had something to grab a hold of. Their partnership almost got them to 50, but that's where Fletcher struck again. A fifer for the Notts bowler capped a great day for his side. Worcestershire limped through to the close of play a few overs later, the score 53 for 6, and they were a massive 347 behind their hosts, who would go all out for the win on the final day.